The new MAHA agenda is rolling out. A new movement is underway to fix some of the causes of childhood chronic disease. This is being led by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Secretary of Department of Health and Human Services. But in addition to his role with HHS, he's also the head of the President's Make America Healthy Again Commission. That's the MAHA Commission, which has influence, interestingly, over other departments and agencies. Now look, Trump created the MAHA Commission through an executive order on February 13th, the same day RFK Jr. was sworn in. And the order states this, quote, "It shall be the policy of the federal government to aggressively combat the critical health challenges facing our citizens, including the rising rates of mental health disorders, obesity, diabetes, and other chronic diseases." Now it notes, to do so, executive departments and agencies that address health and healthcare must focus on reversing chronic disease. Now look, it is tasked, according to Epoch Times, to explore contributing causes to childhood chronic diseases such as the American diet, absorption of toxic material, medical treatment, lifestyle, environmental factors, government policies, food production techniques, electromagnetic radiation, that's EMF, like your Wi-Fi or your phone and stuff, and also corporate influence or cronyism. Cronyism being one of the biggest diseases of them all, in my opinion. Now it says the mandate aligns with Kennedy's presidential campaign platform and his previous work at Children's Health Defense, a nonprofit he founded in 2007. And it notes that aside from the commission as head of HHS, Kennedy will oversee a budget of $1.8 trillion for fiscal year 2025, which is the largest budget of any federal agency. It notes as well, within 100 days, by May 22nd, the Commission will deliver an initial assessment of potential factors that contribute to the chronic disease epidemic, according to the order. And it also notes a national Make Our Children Healthy Again strategy will be presented within 180 days. The commission includes the heads of the Environmental Protection Agency, the Departments of Agriculture, Veterans Affairs, Education, and Housing and Urban Development, and also several economic advisors. It notes the FDA Commissioner, the CDC Director, and the NIH Director will also be involved. So, big campaign rolling out right now. Now, it said as well, folks, RFK Jr. actually made some statements on the campaign to end chronic disease. Watch this.
My commitment to you is that we're going to make chronic disease our top priority. In our first 100 days, we're going to examine every possible contributing factor to the epidemic of chronic disease. We will leave no stone unturned. We're going to listen to the experts and to the dissidents. We're going to listen to insiders and to the whistleblowers. We're going to listen to the doctors and we're going to listen to the moms. We will examine our food, our medicine, our water, our lifestyles, and our environment, everything that goes into Americans' bodies. I promise you that I will enter this inquiry with an open mind and a willingness to be wrong. And I ask that you join me in that. That's how we're going to build unity in this age of political division. We have to find something we care about more than being right, more than political advantage, and more than financial profit.
Now look, one of the reasons RFK faces criticism is because he's willing to listen to people who typically get sidelined by the medical establishment. This is how it works, right? There are doctors and experts out there who don't agree with everybody else. They don't agree with everything we're being told about medicine. There are industry whistleblowers, pharmaceutical companies and so on, people who step forward who have exposed really serious issues that nobody dares to speak about. People don't even dare have them on. There are researchers and there are scientists who uncover findings that contradict medical practices that are considered to be absolute. How dare you question that? And when you're dealing with an industry that has as much power as, big pharma and food, if you understand that most government agencies, right, government officials, they get a lot of funding from these people. Most news outlets, who are the biggest advertisers? Well, it's pharma. Well, these guys, they have a direct impact on health and so on. Many people do not dare to have them on. They don't want to acknowledge any of the dissenting voices. But alongside RFK's actions, there are also others, including on the legal front. Now look, Doge and Elon Musk. They are investigating Medicare and Medicaid and possibly fraud tied in with it. They claim like $300 billion. And it's now being reported by the Wall Street Journal that the Department of Justice is investigating Medicare billing practices, specifically at United Health Group, whose CEO, Brian Thompson, was killed on the streets in Manhattan back in December. Wall Street Journal said this: the Justice Department has launched an investigation into the United Healthcare Group's Medicare billing practices in recent months, people familiar with the matter said. It says the new civil fraud investigation is examining the company's practices for recording diagnoses that trigger extra payments to its Medicare Advantage plans, including at physician groups the insurance giant owns. And it's a series of articles in the Wall Street Journal last year showed that Medicare paid United Health billions of dollars for questionable diagnosis. It notes as well, attorneys with the Justice Department as recently as January 13th interviewed medical providers named in the articles. In the Medicare Advantage system, insurers get lump sum payments from the federal government to oversee enrollees' Medicare benefits. And also when patients have certain diagnoses, the payments go up, creating an incentive to diagnose more diseases. Interesting, right? It notes United Health shares fell 7% on Friday, wiping out more than $30 billion in market value. And it notes the Medicare billing investigation adds to the scrutiny on United Health, the $400 billion company that owns the largest U.S. health insurer and a sprawling network of other health industry assets, including its doctor practices, a large pharmacy benefit manager, and data and technology operations. They might be in big trouble, although they deny any responsibility with this. Now, United Health, they responded to Wall Street Journal report. They said, we are not aware of the launch of any new activity as reported by the Journal. No knowledge of these investigations, allegedly. And they say any suggestion that our practices are fraudulent is outrageous and false. They're fighting back on it, and they say that they are innocent. Now, folks, in other news, Kash Patel is now the director of the FBI. He is your new FBI director. Dan Bongino is the assistant FBI director. And we're also seeing some of the first moves for the agency. Now, Red State reported FBI Director Kash Patel followed up a fiery introduction speech on Friday with equally fiery action. He ordered 1,500 staff and agents to be transferred from its Washington, D.C. headquarters to various locations across the nation. It says some 1,000 agents and staff will be reassigned to cities the Trump administration has designated high-crime locations where they can fight crime rather than engage in political shenanigans. No more gerrymandering with our politics. Time to go fight the bad guys, right? Now, note another 500 staff will be reassigned to Huntsville, Alabama, which it says is the D.C. equivalent of exile to Siberia. Personally, I don't think it's nice they're comparing Alabama to Siberia. I like Alabama, but that's them. Now, folks, with Kash, it's expected he'll take actions to depoliticize the FBI. This is one of the big things he's talking about. This move seems in line with it. He has suggested before he wants the FBI agents out on the streets investigating crime, especially the kind of crime plaguing most Americans, not the political stuff. He wants fewer agents sitting around the office. And look, when he comes to the FBI on the, this comes basically, he's entering an FBI that has been investigating Donald Trump, that has been targeting the people around Trump, that has been going after the Jan 6ers, who, again, it turned out around 5,000 of them, because they did an actual, a survey on this, around 5,000 of them played some role in the January 6 cases. That is all now being rooted out, allegedly, from the agency. And Kash is going to play an important role, not just on ending what Donald Trump refers to as the weaponization of justice, but also on restoring public trust and public faith in the FBI. And in addition to this, Kash Patel could also get named, it's happening right now, the head of the ATF. The acting head, at least. And that's at least according to CNBC, which cited unnamed sources. It said this. It said, New FBI Director Kash Patel is expected to be named the acting head of the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, a Justice Department official said Saturday. ATF is a separate agency with about 5,500 employees and is responsible for enforcing the nation's laws around firearms, explosives, and arson. Firearms, like the ones that may or may not have fallen off your boat while fishing, and arson, like these suspected things happening in California. Now, look, among other things, it says it's in charge of licensing federal firearms dealers, tracing guns used in crimes, and analyzing intelligence in shooting investigations. And notes the news comes days after Attorney General Pam Bondi fired the ATF's top lawyer. They've been firing a lot of them, by the way, including the military. And notes that Bondi said in a Fox News interview Friday she fired Chief Counsel Pamela Hicks because the agency was, quote, targeting gun owners. And notes that Hicks, who spent more than 20 years as a Justice Department lawyer, said in a social media post that being ATF Chief Counsel was the highest honor of her career. And then it was ended. Now, folks, also in other news, on a related point to this, bombs, a bomb threat recently shut down the Kennedy Center. That's, again, one of the major theaters in Washington, D.C. The threat appeared to be aimed at Shenyun Performing Arts. It's a New York-based performing arts company that shows what it describes China before communism. And the threats against the performance, it's becoming a pattern. The CCP has it in for them, and they're even targeting them on American soil. Shenyun is being increasingly targeted with bomb threats and death threats. Even members of Congress who have supported Shenyun are now facing death threats. And a lot of people believe, including Shenyun, they believe this is coming from the Chinese Communist Party. This follows leaked documents from China that revealed Xi Jinping, the head of the CCP himself, gave orders a couple years ago to have CCP agents attack Shenyun, the Epoch Times, and the religion Falun Dafa outside of China. They're trying to export their human rights abuses and shut down dissent from abroad. And in light of the threats, Shenyun is now calling on the U.S. government to investigate.